Hi there, I'm Adrian, and I'd like to walk you through the companion module for Biamp Tesira. So there's been a few things that have been changed in the development of this one, and it's been a complete rewrite, something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And I want to walk through all the things that you should need to know in order to be successful with setting up Companion with your Biamp Tesira Forte or Tesira server or any of those Tesira products. So first thing you're going to do is download Biamp Tesira software, which is what I've got open here. And the one that you're listening to at the moment is the Studio Office, which you can see over here on the right. It's actually live and being used right now. Nothing like doing it live. This will be a long video with some chapters down below. So I'm going to create this demo partition, which takes a microphone processed output and puts it into this new partition over here. And you can see I've added the microphone input. I've added a level block. I've added a matrix mixer. A couple of little tidy up things I want to do here. I want to make that look nice and neat. I'm going to add a block break in there, and we're actually going to change it to be a custom 2-channel mixer, like so. There we go, much better. Another thing I've done is I've put some peak meters here. I haven't compiled this, as you can see, and normally that wire will go over the top of that there. So what I've done is let's add that again, just so you can see exactly what happens normally. Just some little tips and tricks if you haven't used these before. We're going to add a audio meter. It's going to be 1 channel of peak meter. We're going to connect it to that input, and I like to put my meters over here. The thing you do is you click above or below that white line, then right click, order, bring to front, or use Control F. What this does is it makes it really easy to make it neat so you can see what's going on. You can see I've added some level blocks. Now another trick here, so if I cut one of those away, say you've already got a wire in here, and you paste one in. Yes, you can copy paste things. Once you do Control I, it actually then inserts it in the line. So you can actually see that we now have that level input in there. I've got a noise generator, another level block, and another level block on the output side of life, and a peak meter over here. If we jump over to Companion now, here we go. We'll go to our connections, and under our demo connections here, we can see the Biamp Tesira. Now, if you go to the help file up here, it tells you all the things you need to do in order to get it going. So I've been quite explicit with all the text that I've put in to make sure it all works. The first thing you want to do is enable telnet control. So if you open up the Tesira software and you click the little wrench up here, there's device maintenance. This is where it allows you to change the network configuration of your device. And this computer is a little bit old, so we'll just bear with it while it thinks about its life and takes a little break and brings up the device menu. Yep, it's also searching for other devices. And what we can see here, the error is that I've got some Dante streams in there that are false when inactive. We go under network settings. So we've selected our device we're going to work on, network settings, and we've enabled telnet and SSH. So that's what it's told us to do. From here, we can also see the IP address that it's currently running as well, which is 15.120. We'll need that for later. So click OK to that and close that down. If it's the first time, it might need to do a little reboot, and then away you go. So we've done that. We've got this all good to go. Excellent. And it tells you about what I'm saying before, the best practice block design. So to use level controls, you have to enable logic and ramp controls. Let's show you where that is, because that's pretty important too. Under the level control that you've added, if you go right click, edit block thing, I've forgotten already. I'm going to use logic and use ramping. I'm going to do that across all of these. So right click, edit block parameters. That one's already got it on it. Edit block, use logic, use ramping. Happy days. So you can see it's made them a bit bigger here. So we might do a little bit of a shuffle down of this stuff. Oh, why did that do that? There we go. And again, we might tidy this up by doing a little bit of this. From memory, I don't think you have to enable logic. I just like it because then it makes it easier for me to go, I need to do something separate, differently later. And that's how I do it. Okay, so we go. I've got this all neatened up. Beautiful. Let's go back to the module, walk through it. And this tells you why we do that. So typically you won't access the cross points of a matrix mixer typically. Sometimes you may need to, and there's some cool features we've just added to do that. The other thing as well talks to you about adding some audio meters, and we've also got meters for compression and so on, and we'll add that in as well. So let's do that. Let's add a compressor in just so we can really see it working. So we're going to move all this stuff across like so. We're going to add a compressor in. like so. Just a simple little compressor. I like the advanced compression curve because I'm weird like that. And then we'll drop it on top, Control I to insert it. And let's just shuffle this all across. So compression before the level in this instance. There we go, perfect. So it also talks about best practice for naming. So because it uses instance IDs, we're going to name these in a particular way so it makes it easy for us to find it later and kind of cross compare. So we've got, you can see here, levels, we've got limits, we've got AGC. So what we're going to do is we're going to get level as our first thing, and we're going to start naming our instances. That's done by clicking on the instance over here and the instance tag over here on the right hand side just below where my face is. We're going to call this one level. I'm going to move that stream to go the other way. Level mic 1. Do the same here. Level noise. I'm going to make this one level main out. Again, you can call these whatever you want to call them. The other things it told us to do as well is to make sure we do things so comp and limit and stuff. So here we're going to go into here. We're going to call this one comp mic 1, like so. Our peak meter, as you'll see in a second, it'll actually ask us to make it as a meter. So here we go. Talks about the things we're going to look at. The levels, here's our meters. So it likes to use meter. Well, I like to use meter because I'm weird like that. I wrote it, so it should be. So we're going to call this one meter mic 1. This one is going to be called meter main out. Okay, so that makes these things really easy to find and control. There we go. Talks about some of the pairing overrides that we can do. Because the reason it's important to use level, meter, comp and all that stuff is, as you can see here, I've kind of matched it internally, so it pairs it automatically. You don't have to worry about getting the discrete meter input, the discrete level control. If you name it with that level dash, the meter dash, comp dash and all that stuff, it'll all find that last part of the instance tag and make it happen. We don't have to worry about overrides for min-max level. We do that automatically. That's the other thing that's nice about this now. It actually reaches out and goes, hey, what's my minimum maximum level? Another thing that I really like to do with these as well is set my minimum level to -40. Oh my, -40. And my maximum level to 0. So that I'm never ever going over unity gain. That's because I'm weird like that and I like to run my gain structure really tightly. Come on, -40, maximum 0. Perfect. Okay, so we've done that now. Moving on through, you can see we've got matrix cross points here that we can change as well. Here's all the presets, how they work, manual controls. You can do all the usual stuff. So it should discover all the instances in a minute and put those in there for us, which is fantastic. I think that's all we need to add in there. We should be good to go. Yep, discover, discover, discover. And we've got some feedbacks in there. Fantastic. Yep. Oh yeah, I've got really flexible meters now. Thank you to the people who did all the work on the Yamaha RCP project. Awesome, really exciting stuff. So I took inspiration, basically stole it, did a whole heap of stuff to it to make it work. Let's talk about subscription rates. So the way in which it talks to the Tesira these days is it sends out a subscription request and then the Tesira will start feeding that back to Companion. So obviously we don't want to overload that, that communication channel too much. So I've found that, you know, feedback of these particular settings work really well. And then every second it gets a custom subscription. So this should be all good. Talks about all that stuff which I've just talked about. Let's see it in action. So we've built our little test file. We've got a nice little peak meter here, which we're going to call mic, just so I can see which one it is. Boonk. And here's our master, or our main out. Main out. Okay, we're now going to compile, which means that you will lose my audio because I haven't compiled the first petition. Normally, if this existed over here, this would compile and we wouldn't interrupt the audio, but I have to. So let's pause and do the compilation. So the compilation has completed and everything's happened. I have to start the audio on these things, and you wouldn't have heard me before because the audio wasn't started. We're also now going to start the audio in this second partition. And as you can see here immediately, we've got my voice impacting that level, and we can see some things here. So because we've got these things here now, we're now going to jump over to Companion to complete it. So at the moment, we should have, that IP address, which I believe was 15.120 from memory. I've probably got it wrong. You're probably yelling at the screen now telling me exactly how I've got it wrong. We're going to pause, find out what the IP address is to save time, because it's going to take a while to disconnect and find it. We'll be right back. So we're back where we left off. Nothing went wrong at all. I was just impatient. So one of the things to remember is when, and I'll show you this now, if I disconnect and reconnect this, it will show that yellow for a long time. What it's actually doing is it's reaching out to the Tesira at the moment. It's pulling all the instances IDs off that particular system and then making them available. So it does take a long time. And this particular file has a lot of instances in it in the other side of this. So now that it's connected, we can create some buttons. So we're going to just get rid of all that for now. The default password is default. It does say in here, so if you hover over everything, it tells you what to use. Told everything that's happening. Fantastic. Into buttons now. So under presets, we have some new presets. So you've got some manual controls. So if you want to create your own controls, you can drag them in and assign them as you want to. You can see some VUs, some gain controls. There's how to discover the instance IDs, subscribe to instance feedback. So if you want to get any of these things, you can see all the instances are discovered. Mute controls, which is really handy. So we could drag, mute mic 1 on there, for example. And if we click it, you'll see it goes red. And if we go over here, we can see that that level meter has indeed been muted. And it's really nice and snappy, which is great as well. We can grab a VU meter. So if we look down here for mic 1 VU, and we'll go main out VU as well. Now you notice immediately that they don't start working. You've actually got to touch them once to make the subscription happen. And you can see now if I mute that microphone that it does mute it from coming out the main outs, which is very handy. What else we got there? I think we've got compression mic 1. So again, if we click it once to begin it, you'll see that if I make the compression do something, which we can do over here. Let's go compression ratio 10:1. Let's make that knee super soft like that. Have we got some meters? Are the meters compressing? Yes, they are nicely. And you can see now that as I get excited and I click it for the first time, we should start seeing gain reduction. Mic 1, gain reduction. What have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? It should be subscribing to that. I feel like this is a me problem. I'm positive it's a me problem. Anyway, we'll come back to it. But yes, you normally can get your gain reductions in there and they work beautifully. Back to presets, knob presets. This is one of my favorite things in the world. And I'll be showing this on a knob in a minute because I happen to have here a Stream Deck Plus. So if we grab this knob mic 1 and we drop it onto my knobs here, like so, you should see that as I turn this, it starts turning it down and it gives that feedback. The other trick to this as well is I usually drop it on the button above so that you get feedback, it's hard to see here, above the knob because the knob itself doesn't have that feedback. And you can see that I'm controlling the level there very simply and it's working beautifully. So there's some of the knobs. Back to presets, because there's a lot. Momentary mute. So these are really important. So one of the things that I use Biamp Tesira for is putting them at commentary positions for people. So for example, if we go cough mic 1, and if I need to cough, it temporarily mutes it while I'm holding the button. And as soon as I release that button, my audio comes back to where it was before. We also have other variations on the same theme. So we've got a talk microphone. So when you press it, you're talking. When you let go, it mutes it. So it shows that operation that you can use it as a, for example, you need to do a house announcement and you've got someone sitting there and they've got a Stream Deck or a little M5 Atom, which I like to use as well. They can push the button, have a talk, blah, 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 let go, they get muted again. And again, this works anywhere you've got level controls. Latching talk is also the same as the other. touch it to latch it on, touch it again to turn it off. This also works with, we can then use the torque temporary override. If we've got it turned on and we need to cough, 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 cough. So all of those functions can work in concert with each other, which is pretty cool. That's the bulk of the presets. That means that you're up and running and using this pretty quickly. The other ones that haven't been added here, so if we create a button and we look in the demo here, we do have a whole heap of other stuff. So I didn't show you this one. So if we go, whoops, presets, we have some manual controls here. So for example, say we wanted to add a plus and minus volume up and down, basically. This also shows you how it works. So our instance tag for this one is level mic 1. So we just come in here. And did I do two things? Subscription, instance tag, there it is. Instance tag there. It's our button for plus. Here's our button for minus. Bonk. And so what you'll see now is that if I start pushing the plus button, the level will go up. If I push the minus button, I'll let go. So it allows us to do bump buttons if you prefer to do bump buttons. Presets, again, under here, it's got all the default things that we talked about before and how it all works. So that's literally it. We've got a knob and we've got a button. Oh, the other thing about the knob as well is if you push it, it mutes it. Not it should, it does mute it. So it gives all that feedback right above it. So these can be used for headphone mixes. These can be used for all kinds of different things. And because I've got that auto scaling in here as well, so you can see 40 is my minimum. And if I wind it all the way up, it goes to 0. But again, we can change this to be however you want it to be. This currently pulls it automatically from the Tesira in its way, which is fantastic. That's it. That's how you create your layouts and how you connect it and how it all works. And it'll just come up next time just like this. Thank you. Oh, no, other things. Cheers, because I haven't finished yet. So we do have a lot more actions here as well. So if you need to do a matrix crosspoint, this is one of the requests the other day, you can do a matrix crosspoint level set now. So I didn't remember what my instance tag was for this one. So let's open it up. This is a very simple matrix. Obviously, it's got two things on it. I should be able to discover it from in here. So if we go to variables and we go to Biamp, it should here tell us all the different things that it's found, which are called aliases. So I have called them instances because that's what, if you're using Biamp Tesira software, that's what it's called. The API calls it aliases, but to make things less confusing, I'm just keeping instances because you're not interacting with the API, you're only interacting with the Biamp software and Companion, I hope, because that's what this is supposed to do. This will help you out with that. What we're looking for is the mixer. I'm guessing it's going to be mixer 7 because that's the last one I put in there and I didn't set an instance tag for it. So let's come back in here. We're going to go, this is our instance tag. And we're going to, we can increment, we can decrement, so we can set it, whatever. So let's do increment. Let's grab our little trick over here, make it blue, that'll do for now. And hide. So there's our increment, and we're going to increment by 1 dB every time we push it. Going to copy, paste it down one. This is going to be our decrement. And hopefully now, if I push buttons, we go in here, we should see, there it is. It is controlling the level of that one as well. I haven't got this one on a button at the moment, but you could easily build that. So we can see that the control works for that cross point. We can actually just copy one of the knobs over here to the 4th button. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that, that's the level that it's going to be at. We should be able to pull that one off and get it in there. So let's go to our rotate right actions. And maybe I need to make this a preset as well. But the matrix cross point, it's going to be mixer 7. input 1, output 1. Going to say when you rotate it to the right, it's going to decrement by 1 dB. And our write action, which we'll delete because we don't need that one anymore. Hello, go away. Boonk, boonk. It's our press actions. We're going to do the same thing. So mixer 7, increment by 1. And our feedback should be from our variable, which will be from Biamp Tesira. Yep, we should have a variable which should be no, we're not pulling it from there. Okay, so we're just going to get rid of the feedback for now. Boink, get rid of that there. We're going to change it from knob mic 1, so we don't need the level on there. So for now, we're just going to go matrix xpt1/1. I'm going to copy and paste that one down here. So just double checking. Rotate left, mixer 7, 1, 1, decrement, rotate right, increment. We could probably do a mute of instance tag 1. That won't work because it's not set up for that way, but that's okay. We'll leave the mute off like so. But if we go over here now, I should be able to now turn that up and down, which I can. So rotating the knob allows me to control that. I typically use the level controls because that's how I was taught to do it back when we were in the Crestron and AMX days. But there you go. That is how you get a full walkthrough from start to finish of how to set up Biamp Tesira with Bitfocus Companion. Hopefully this has been helpful, and hopefully we can add those extra features. I'd love to add some knob presets for matrix cross points, because guess what? That would be really cool. So by the time this is out, it'll probably exist here. So you go to presets, Biamp Tesira, it'll be knob presets, or knob matrix presets, something like that. All right, that's all there is today. Enjoy, have a wonderful time, and we will see you later. There's presets and stuff as well, which you can call. Do you want to see presets? Go on, let's see some presets before we go. So let's get a manual control. I don't have to worry about that because it's not there. We're just going to delete this one here. We're going to go call preset 101 or 1001. We're going to make it that size. We're going to go in here. I'm going to open it up. And we're going to, where is it? Recall preset. So there you go, 1001. If I hit that button, it will recall the presets. All right, there's a lot more. Have fun, enjoy it, and I will see you later. Ciao for now. Bye.